In the last chapter, chapter 5, I showed you how to add an assignment to Blackboard. And in that assignment, I had a couple of videos that I attached. And I realized that I did not spend very much time talking about videos and files and how to incorporate them into your assignments, into Blackboard in general. So in this supplement, we're going to do that. To show you a little bit more about how you can use files and videos in Blackboard, I'm going to modify one of my lecture folders. And so we're in Module 4, and this is the module we have been working on. And I'm going to go down to the Module Lecture Materials folder. And in this Module Lectures Material folder, we have these different chapters. I'm going to go add my notes to Chapter 32. Now I also have, for this one, I have some recorded lectures. So we're going to be able to add not only some PowerPoint notes, but also a recorded lecture for this. And so to do that, we have a couple of different options when I'm trying to add a file. So I'm going to start with the notes, the PowerPoint notes, and we're going to add this as a file. I'm going to go ahead and this was a placeholder, but I can also turn it into the actual notes holder. And so I'm going to edit. This is an item. And I'm going to change this to Chapter 32 PowerPoint notes. And this way it's very clear to the students what this is. And I have in particular two methods for attaching those notes. Now of course I need to have that PowerPoint file on my desktop. And I'm going to do it both ways just to show you how you can do this. I can type in here, for instance, I can type whatever I want and I can link it. So I'm going to type in Chapter 32 PowerPoint notes. I'm going to highlight it, click on the link button here. It's going to take me to another window, and normally it doesn't go full size on me like this, but sometimes it does. I'm going to shrink it down a little bit. I'm going to go and browse my computer. You can actually link from online too if you have that, but I have a Chapter 32 PowerPoint file there. This other one is a narrated PowerPoint, and I'll get to that in a moment, but this is my chapter notes. I'm going to click on open. Now watch down below. Don't just hit insert. You have to wait for the upload to finish. You can see below the cursor here that it's uploading. If you hit insert before it's uploaded, it won't link it properly. You can also have different things that you can set. I tend to leave everything alone except for this target. And you can either open this file in this Windows frame or you can open it in a blank frame. And I tend to do the blank one by default. This is more important for, say, web pages. But I always tend to select the Open in New Window option. Again, totally up to you how you do that. When you hit insert, and now I have a link to those PowerPoint notes. And what it did is it uploaded these PowerPoint notes as a file in Blackboard and is treating it as a link to a location within Blackboard. And so it's not linking it to your desktop. The other method is to simply go down here and attach a file. Browse my computer and attach this file as before. Now it's not going through the uploading process because in this case once I hit submit, then it will go through the uploading process. I can also change the link title. So instead of just having the file name, I can call these the Chapter 32 PowerPoint notes. And I can also add to alignments. This is something that we're not going to worry about now. This is something that we would do in developing a full online or hybrid course. Alright, we can track the number of views, we can do all sorts of things. I tend to leave this by default, and I'm going to hit submit. And it may take a few moments, in particular because the fact that it's trying to upload that PowerPoint file, and as a result it may take a few minutes. So we're going to pause here for just a moment to see, and I'll wait and then I'll come back when it is uploaded. Well, that didn't take long. Here we are now with the Chapter 32 PowerPoint notes available. I can either click here as a link. This is the attached file, or I can click as a link. And that's all I need to do with that. Well, I also have, in this case, I have some recorded lecture. Fellow faculty members of mine, Betsy Maxim and Bernice Spear, have recorded a lecture for this particular chapter, and I can find it over here at this YouTube link. And I am going to link this video here into below the notes so that my students have another way of viewing these notes. They don't just have the notes, but they have someone lecturing on it. So I'm going to create another item here. Now I could do this a couple of different ways. And let's go ahead and I think in a previous video I showed you that there was some kind of error going on, so let's see if that's changed. I'm going to start by trying to add a YouTube video. So this is one of the options I can use for linking a video. And it's going to ask for a search, and what I can do is I can go to the video, I can go to share, and I can copy this link. If all goes well, I should be able to go over here and insert this, Control V, and hit go. Now, we're still getting that error, and I'm not sure why this is the case. There may be something off. This is probably specific to ACC right now. Again, this is a very new error for us. So we're going to have to bypass this and go another route for the time being. But normally, you would get a list of the video here, you would select on it, and then you could link it. So we're going to have to do something different. And we're going to go back to, I suppose I could just use my back arrow up here. I'm going to go back to where we were. I'm going to go ahead and click item. I'm going to create an item. I'm going to call this the video lecture. So chapter 32 video lecture. I can do what I did before. I can type here. I can type a link. So this will be chapter 32 video lecture. I can certainly then link it, and I can use that URL I copied from YouTube. I can paste it here, and I'm going to open up in a new blank window. I'm going to hit insert. Alright, so I have now created a link to that video. We'll see if it works here in a moment. But I also think I mentioned in a previous lecture that I also like to have the video in Blackboard so they can just watch from Blackboard. They don't need to leave Blackboard. A couple of ways to do that. If the YouTube video link was working, that is the YouTube item was working, then we could do it that way. But I have another way of doing that, and that is I'll go back to my YouTube video. I'll go to share, but instead of this link, I'm going to go and look for the embed link. Embedded links are for allowing you to embed this video into a website, and so we're going to use that property and copy this. And now one of the other features that's kind of cool is that if, let's say that you are watching a video and you want them to start halfway through, you can change the time at which they start. You can decide that they start at 30 seconds instead of the beginning, and as a result you can set that, and so your students would just start watching that part. This is useful, for instance, if you have a documentary that's fairly long and you only want them to watch a small part of it. You can go directly to that part and have them start watching at that point. Now, I'm not going to do that in this case. I'm going to copy this embedded information. I'm going to go back to this. Now again, remember, because I'm using an embedded code, I can't just insert it into the text box here. Instead, I have to go to HTML, and I'm going to go below all of this. I'm going to insert or paste, Control V, that information. I'm going to hit update. Now my preview here is just a yellow box, and in fact this yellow box is not even going to be quite the dimension that you're going to see whenever I submit. So you're just going to have to trust that that's the case for now. You can and go change these dimensions. So for instance, you can go and change the dimensions of this. I would not do that, at least until you have submitted and see what it looks like. So let's do that. Now I could also attach a video potentially, although that gets a little bit weird with video sizes and things like that, but these are your best options. In fact, I always recommend to fellow faculty that if you're going to put videos in Blackboard, get them in YouTube first. YouTube does a really good job of compressing the video and maintaining its quality so that students are not having to wait long periods of time to download a video or to buffer it properly. YouTube does a really good job with that, and so students are going to be able to watch this on their phone. They're going to be able to watch it on an iPad or on their desktop or whatever device they're using pretty easily, because all of those devices have access to YouTube, and YouTube does a good compression job. So I'm going to hit submit, and as I go down, there's my lecture. There's my link to the lecture if I need it. Now, they also provided a narrated PowerPoint. In fact, this video is of that narrated PowerPoint. Let's say I want to include that as well. I'm going to go ahead and go back to Edit, and I can attach this narrated PowerPoint. And I'm going to do chapter 32. I'm going to change the title. I could also link it like I did the other one, like I did this chapter 32 lecture. In fact, I'm going to take this off because it's redundant. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to submit. And again, this might take a few moments simply because it's now having to upload narrated PowerPoints. I'm going to do a video at some point about narrated PowerPoints and how to do them. I can tell you right now that one of the downsides of using a narrated PowerPoint by itself is that when you do the narration in PowerPoint, it creates a rather large file. These files can be easily over 100 megabytes in size, which can be difficult for students to download or to access properly. And that's why I say even with narrated PowerPoints, you can push them into YouTube. YouTube will compress that to a much smaller size and make it much more accessible and easier to view. Okay, so we're going to have to pause for a moment as we wait for this to upload. Okay, and we're back, and that took about 15 minutes to load that narrated PowerPoint up. You can see that's about 100 megabytes. Again, I don't recommend adding those simply because imagine the students trying to download this, and they certainly wouldn't be able to download this on a smart device because of the lack of space for them. But anyway, that's how you can add files. You can add files and videos in multiple different ways. I kind of like this method myself because it gives you a nice big video interface. Once you click on it, you can start to listen to the PowerPoint or the YouTube video, and you can also go in, you click on this and go to YouTube itself to see the video. There's closed captioning options and full screen option as well, for instance, like this. So there's a lot of ways in which you can manipulate this, and they are also doing that within Blackboard, so they're not having to leave Blackboard to do that if they don't want to. Okay, so that's how you can manipulate files and videos in Blackboard. There are a few other ways that we did not cover, but these are going to be pretty versatile tools that you can use to enhance your digital experience for the students and deliver your content successfully. Hope you enjoyed, and I will talk to you soon.